Hallå tillsammans, or as we would say it in Swedish, hej allihopa. I'm Berna, and I am here today representing IKEA, or the German retail part of IKEA. And I am working there as a business development and transformation manager. And how can I say it? I am Norwegian by birth and Swedish by choice. And I live and work, as I said, here in Germany, together with my beautiful family, containing of 3 kids and an old husband. That's how we call him, the old guy in the family. Anyway, I'm super happy to be here today together with you. And I'm also humble that you have invited us as IKEA. Because I think in these times, when the world is changing faster than ever, inequalities are growing, we see that more and more people are actually excluded and doors are closed everywhere. We at IKEA think it's super important that we come together and have dialogue, that we come together and put the challenges on the table so that we together can open doors, that we together can have dialogues to learn, to listen in. And most of all, at IKEA, we have the ambition to create a workspace as inclusive as possible, and actually as inclusive as the world should be. At the moment, as we speak, there is so many things going on. And I mean, inclusion is super broad. Today we are here with you guys, a specific target group, but inclusion for us at IKEA is actually a lot. It is, of course, about gender, about sex, about religion, but it's also about culture, about languages. It's really about making everybody able to be themselves and show up as they are. We all know, and you more than me, that the world is not inclusive. And we know that many countries today have not legalized same-sex marriage, for example. We know that people with different sexual preferences are sorted out or not actually included into work life. We know that there's many things going on in the world which is not fair. So that's why this little moment we're going to have together is going to be about how important it is that we all are working on this together, that we all stay open and curious, but most of all, it is about braveness. Braveness from you, from me, from anyone to step in and show up as who we are. And for us as a company, of course, super important also to be able to create an environment where everybody can show up as who they are. At IKEA, we have a vision, which goes like this. We want to create a better everyday life for the many people. And of course, as a global brand with a vision strong as that, which is a super strong living reality, it can sound like something fluffy, but actually every day in my work, and most of us working at IKEA, we connect to the vision every day. And for having that vision and ambition to create a better everyday life for the many people is, of course, for the many consumers and customers out there, but it's also for us as co-workers, as suppliers, or as service providers to IKEA. So for us, this is really a mission and a task we have taken on. And most of the time, this vision comes to life through our culture and values and how we are actually acting and behaving at IKEA. So I want to bring you back in history. So let's go back, let's start 80 years ago. Our founder, Ingvar Kamprad, he started IKEA. And he started IKEA in a place of Sweden. So if Sweden is shaped like a long, narrow thing, in the bottom and the fattest part, you have a place called Småland. It's only forest, it's stone, it's really difficult prerequisites. And in this region where he started IKEA, we have a special culture in Sweden. And if we go back hundreds of years, when people really had to work with manpower, when we didn't have electricity, we didn't have anything else, in this part of Sweden, it was super hard to survive. So whatever they worked on and did, everybody had to contribute. Whatever your task and skills and capabilities was, there was a role for everybody to join, because to create enough food to survive for the winter, to get anything to grow, you needed to pull away stones. It was really, really a hard place to survive, which made the culture a super strong fundament for how to work together, how everybody had a place and a role to play, and also for how we take care of resources and ideas, because ideas was the best resource that they could have, because they needed to overcome so many things. So this is the part of Sweden, which is also actually within Sweden famous for that culture, where IKEA grew up. And that has, of course, shaped how we are acting and behaving at IKEA. So when Ingvar Kamprad then started to form the company as we know it today, he also set out a people and culture idea, or an HR idea, as we call it, which is one of the statements together with our vision, which is forever within this company, which was really stating that we want to give straightforward, open and honest people the possibility to grow and develop based on their strength and who they are. And it sounds maybe fluffy and yeah, that's good to say, but I have to say, I've been with this company now for 25 years in different roles of the company and in different countries. And this viewpoint, the humanistic way of how we look upon people is, I have to say, unique. And it crosses over cultures and differences between markets. It is a living reality every day. And that, of course, then starts with how we are recruiting at IKEA. And I took that very much for granted, I have to say, when I started coming from Scandinavia. But I realized that in many markets, a CV, education, documented learnings and knowledge is super important. But for us at IKEA, we actually don't care. We care about people and who they are and what capabilities they have. The rest we can develop together. So we do value-based recruitments. We are really ensuring and having processes that we secure people's capabilities to work together, to pull together, to show up as who they are, and to actually being able to challenge and doing things different with a meaning based on this super strong Småland culture we are building our behaviors on at IKEA. So this recruitment strategy and how we are actually then working hard on building and strengthening differences within our teams, and that we do, I wouldn't say every day, but during our work and team development, this is core of what we are striving for. Because we believe that if we're going to reach our vision to create a better everyday life for the many people, we need to represent the many people. And that's why our ambition is also that the workplace should be as diverse as the world is and as inclusive as the world should be. So let's leave IKEA for a short while then and go back to who I am and why I'm here together with you today. Because I have to say, I have to confess one thing. I have been unconsciously spoiled my whole life. And I say unconsciously because honestly, I took everything in my life for granted. I grew up in Norway with parents who coached me to do whatever I wanted. If I wanted to learn how to change the tires on the car, my dad taught me. If I wanted to apply for a job which I was too young for, they said, leave out your age. And I was coached to really move forward based on what I wanted and who I was. And that continued when I entered Sweden and started to work at IKEA. I have never, ever been questioned because I'm a woman or because I have 3 small children. I even got promoted during my last pregnancy and got a new work directly after when I come back. So I have to say that I took this very much for granted, but this is absolutely not the fact. And you know that. And I have the hard way, working as a manager, as a leader, also learned that because many people are actually excluded based on their sexual preferences, for example, or cultural differences. We are excluded because we are women in the top management rooms. We are paid less because we are women. We know also that the world is discriminating also because of languages. We are closing more doors than we are opening doors actually in the society at the moment. And this is, of course, something which I have learned, not personally the hard way, but actually through being in recruitment processes, understanding, listening in, and hearing stories which are not acceptable from a human perspective. And representing myself, I have decided to stand up for this, to actually make sure that as many others of you, of my children, of my colleagues, have the same possibility as I had, to dare to show up as who you are, to dare to wish for what you want, and actually to strive for that every day. And luckily, I'm working in a company who have the same mission and have the same wish. Because it is proved that if people are forced to show up, not able to be themselves, productivity goes down. And we truly believe at IKEA that if you come from your strengths and if you show up as who you are, you feel more comfortable and automatically productivity, team spirit, efficiency will go up. So we are on this journey as IKEA. And I mean, if you look upon how much time we spend on work, like 1/3 of our life we spend at work. Of course we have, or I have as a leader, and we have as a company a huge task to do to make that part of your life quality time, and a time where you can actually be yourself and feel home, but also take steps and develop based on your capabilities. But I guess, being here together with you today, we are all in the same boat. I don't think I need to convince any of you actually that this is important. I think that's why we are here today. But for us at IKEA, we have a fundamental belief in humanity. And for us, this is important. And the culture and how we act in the everyday have brought IKEA to where we are today, which is in a good place, but it's absolutely not enough, because we see that the world around us is getting more and more exclusive compared to being an inclusive world. So we have decided at IKEA, and thereby we have top managers standing up and having a viewpoint and setting statements and ambition for the company. We have set a plan for how we want to become more inclusive and fair as a company, with a strategy, with actually knowledge building activities, with trainings to overcome biases and to actually be aware of biases, and trainings to learn and understand the things that we are doing today, which is not made us move as far as we want to become the inclusive company as we wish to be. But of course, we have done a lot and we have made progress. And some of the things I'm most proud of being here representing IKEA today is, of course, that we have made it a fundamental part of equal rights in our code of conduct. So we made it okay to be okay, and we made it not okay to not act inclusively. We also have, sounds like a small thing, but launched our new staff clothing, which is unisex. So everybody can choose and pick what they feel like wearing and creating their own look and feel within the frame of the brand, of course. And of course, with a Swedish touch to it. We also launched a gender-neutral language, which we are moving on and developing and rolling out. And in some countries where there's legally okay, we even made neutral, also unisex toilets, so people can actually choose where to go and not have to choose if I'm a man or a woman. We also have support for people that are going through a process of coming out or changing sex. We have support for people doing that from a personal perspective. And I'm super proud that we are in the forefront of being 50-50 men and women, and actually as a good example, having women and men equally represented all around and across the company. Our commitment as IKEA, as an employer, as a brand, is to make this place, and then specifically IKEA and the communities we are operating in, a place as diverse as the world is and as inclusive as the world should be. Thank you all for listening.